Well, what a blessing. We are at a farm dam in the Tzaneen area, close to Letsitele. I've been told that this dam has beautiful fish, but not so much beautiful, but so many species. It's a small little dam. We have hippos, and apparently there are 7 or 8 species in this dam. So that's our quest for the day. We are going to see how many of these species we can catch. So I'm just going to run through it quickly. It's myself and my grandson Michael, and we also have some friends, Derek Henham, who's going to fish and see how many of these species we can catch. There are also a number of locals around here, and they are catching kurper. I've seen a few coming up. So let's see, what do we have? We have some carp. So for the carp, I have prepared normal ground bait with a few of the high pro pellets in to see if we can draw them in. Got a lot of flips. Then it's a standard type of normal popkoi type of fishing. I'm going to use the method feeder, which is the same as normal bank angling, to target them on flips and on floaties and on maybe a few pop-ups depending on the size. They tell me that there's also yellowfish around here. So in this area I think it might be the large scale or the small scale yellow, and for that I have prepared maggots, worms and minis. I'm going to fish them in a little bit closer. For the kurpers, worms, snake worms, kariba worms. They also tell me that there are some muddies here. I'm not sure which muddies it is. I don't know whether it, I think in this area it might be the red nose muddy, but it might also be the red fin. So I'm just going to check it out. The Letaba River is literally flowing just behind those trees. It is in flood at the moment and they are pumping water into this dam. Those pumps are running, and I know the water overnight has come up. We were here yesterday afternoon, it was much lower, and I don't know what the temperature change is going to do to the fish. So we're also going to target the muddies. For that I have prepared some white millie rice, maggots and worms. So let's see what the day brings. I've got no idea what to expect, except that there's a lot of hippos in front of us, 35 of them all over this farm. Join me for the day, let's see what we can do. First kurper. It is a small little blue. Look how big. One species. One down, 7 to go, 6 to go. Let's see. And they're getting bigger. So in terms of the principles of how I approach it, I've got no idea. I've got no idea what to do, how they behave. So what I thought, I measured the depth. You know, I'm always saying to measure is to know. So I've plumbed up and I measured. So what happens here, the bottom goes in, goes deeper slightly, and then it falls down into, it looks like a trough or a river or something that that is going through here, through the dam. And they are really getting bigger. Still blues. I think the blue kurper is going to be the species that we catch the most. So I think we're going to have many of those. I use a worm needle and and a QM1 little circle loop, semi-circle loop. I put the worm on right onto the line. That's it, like that. If you need to know all the different ways of how to catch or how to use worms and how to present them on 4Anglers, there's a specific link, or you can just go and search maniere om 'n worm te hengel or something like that, and then I put 2 maggots in front. So as I said, it's shallow in front and it goes slightly deeper, and it falls away at about 25 meters from here. It starts falling away deeper into, it looks like a river or something, and it carries on for about up to 45 meters, and then it starts coming up slightly. So I'm fishing one in that deep at 40 meters, and then another one where it starts coming up at 20 meters, and this one I'm just swinging out for the purpose, playing around a little bit. I do put a bit of ground bait in here, just like that, and this hook link is a little bit shorter than what would be prescribed in competitive terms. This is about 40, it should be 50. From the short line to 20 meters, I'm using the fine feeder. It is a feeder from Bowline, but it's very fine. And I'm not putting any particles in there. So every 3 minutes I'm putting a small little cage. I'm just keeping the maggots on. This one is on a barbed hook. The other one I'm fishing a barbless hook. And just at 20 meters, I am just rotating it every 3 minutes, just to get that cloud of ground bait in there. Very, very fine, no particles, nothing else to eat. If they would come in onto that aroma and the taste of the ground bait in the water, only the maggots is the only substance in, and they should be taken in. On the carp line, I'm rotating every 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes I'm just casting again. I am, at the moment, I'm just fishing a millipip and a bit of worm. Camera crew is getting anxious behind me, or behind the camera. Another kerper. Sometimes if you leave it too long, it swallows it. I use a disgorger, and because it's a barbless hook, it's so easy to get out. So the carp line, I'm going to start putting things like wafters or pop-ups or floaties or something like that on that, but I just want to let that one settle. I'm just fishing pips at the moment. Just fish it for about an hour every 10 minutes. What I did there was to put about, I think maybe 10 cages of ground bait with corn. So there's a lot of pips in there, but I'll just keep on rotating that. Here, in close, I'll just fish the fine one. What is so nice about maggots is you can probably catch 3 or 4 fish without reloading. So later on, I will fish a float. It's a waggler, it's a casting type of float. And if there are too many small fish on the bottom, there's the bite again. I'll just use the float to get it off the bottom, maybe half a meter or so up in the water. The locals are just relying on whatever is in front of them and putting a bit of ground bait. Makes a difference. Even for Kurper, they like a bit of ground. And it's the fine one, so there's no substance. It's just a bit of cloud. Oh my soul! Well, that's an interesting species. A waterschildpad. So it's a turpin, and normally they don't smell good. You don't really want to touch them, but fortunately that is a barbless hook, so it might be very easy to take it out. And let's just take it out and let it go again. I'm not going to pose with a photo. It was the easiest just to break off the line because it was in the side of his mouth, but it's a barbless hook, so it will come out pretty quick. It's the first time I put a millipip on the Kurper spot. I thought maybe redbreast, because redbreast like to eat things like corn, floaties, those type of things, but let's try again. They are getting bigger, still the same species, but they're getting better, bigger and better. And a bit better. I'm onto the maggots now. As if the moment you put on a worm, they are smaller. So it looks like the maggots are sorting out the bigger ones. I'm going to put on some snake worms a bit later, see if that doesn't distinguish him a little bit better. The way I'm fishing it is called to hand. So the rig is exactly at my hand and I'm just swinging it up and swinging it back in. So it's exactly to hand. Maggots on a 4908 hook, and there was still enough feed in the feeder, so I just left it in. It was so quick. I'm actually dying to put on a float and cast it a little bit further up from the water, up from the bottom. What puzzles me is that nothing else bites. I'm not getting a bite on the carp line, I'm not getting a bite here. Try different baits. I'm onto a little wafter there. It's in for 25 minutes now. I actually put it in there where I was feeding all the time. Absolutely no action there whatsoever. On this closer line I put in different types of baits. The moment that you're in deeper water, nothing, and there's just hordes of Kurper in the shallow. They are all little blues. I'm not even getting a different species. So it's Kurper and turpin. Only two species I have. Oh, this is a good size to actually put on as bait for barbel. See if the barbel won't take it. So let's go for the bigger carp with a snake worm and a krill wafter in 'n bietjie kaas op die bal. So you're not getting other species. I'm going to go for barbel now. Take a small Kurper, take the head, and for that I make a very specific rig like this. It's a bigger hook, the one that will catch the fish, and then a smaller hook where you hook the bait on, like the Kurper or Kurper head, and then you put it on a normal rig with a sliding sinker on top. This is my barbel rig. That's what it looks like. And that hook will hold the bait. This hook will catch the fish. So let's cast for a barbel. So this is what is called a dwarf tiger, a rover. It's got small little teeth, so it's called a dwarf tiger, or they also talk about the Letaba tiger. Not really a tiger fish, but it's a species that is a predatory fish, a small predator. We used to catch them in the Olifants River system as well, but then, and in Loskop, but then they are like this size. So this is the biggest one I've ever seen in my life. Andre caught it on the other side there. So he's just brought me some bait. He says flying ants. I'm going to put some flying ants on a float now and see what I can get. Well, it's on the float now, so there's a lot of fish in there, but I cannot get those robbers to bite. I've seen them, the one that Andres caught, but I can't catch one. There are so many small Kurpers, another little blue, and they're out there. The line is set about a meter from the surface. So that's the depth, and every now and then there's a decent bite, but most of them are these small little, I think it's Kurper. I haven't been able to catch one, and I'm on a 08, so maybe it's time to scale down on hook size. But let's continue for a while. Maybe I get one of those robbers. They are, the one that I saw is quite big, it's got a large mouth, so there's no reason it should not be able to eat this bait. Oh, I'm into that shoal now, and they are biting properly. Beware of the fins, they are so sharp. Three, four maggots. Nice little bush of maggots. That out about 30 meters, a meter below the surface. One massive barbel. Look at this thing. It is an absolute donkey. Small little barbel on a worm and a krill pop up right there in the deepest of this lake. I didn't even know it was on. I took it out to change and on it was. At least Kurper back in the water. Kurper, blue Kurper, red breast, barbel, and that robber, the Letaba tiger. I can't claim it, I didn't catch it, but it was caught on the same day at the same place by my friend Andre. So So at least there are 4. Oh, and the turpin. You add that. Yes. I just can't catch a carp. That is actually quite disturbing for me at the moment. But I'm not going to stop. I will continue until there's no time left to catch a carp. Just fed again. And now I'm going to start putting some dips. Start with something like cinnamon. Derek just said to me, cinnamon, parabe, those type of things are always good. So I'm going to start with that. And see if the dip will actually bring in the carp. Let's not never ever give up. Haha. Oh no, small fish. But it's a different bait.
Sure.
Oh my, look at this. Okay. Just tried something different. Freshwater mussels. They don't smell so well, but they work. I'm fishing in the deep water on a spot that I fed the whole morning. Couldn't get a fish there. Put the freshwater mussels, and the very first one, nice little red breast. Look at that, in that deep water. Hey, look at this. This is one of those robbers. Looks like it's properly hooked. Look at that fish. It is massive for the species. It is absolutely massive. It measures 15 centimeters long. 15 centimeters long. Look at this. What a beautiful fish. Look at that. Wow. Well, no carp. Couldn't catch a carp. Didn't see one. Didn't get a carp bite. No indications, no nothing. Lots of kurper. 2 different species of kurper. Small little barbel. And the robber. The Taba tiger fish that I didn't catch it. Andre did. Certainly didn't get what I came for. So the quest will continue later in the week. See if we can visit another dam in the Letsitele area and see if there are more specimens. Couldn't even catch a bass.
Die afgelope Desember is die ATKV Eiland Spa se vakansieprogram propvol aktiwiteite om 'n jong span besig te hou. Een van daardie aktiwiteite is om die kinders en natuurlik die ouers die basiese beginsels van hengel te leer. Daar was gooi klasse, tegniese raad en lekker hengelkompetisie vir die hele gesin om te geniet. Met die komplimente van Campmaster kon ons talle pryse uitgee, sodat elke hengelaartjie kon wegstap met iets in die hand en heerlike herinneringe in die hart.
So yeah, certainly didn't get what I came for. But what I came for. Oops, reik voorbij. Let's see.